I mean, you can, of course. Okay.
Wait, what'd you say?
Oh, so you're the host in this, or how does this work? Is there a host in this?
It's just a laid back conversation
Okay. Okay. So
pertaining to the Dhamma, aka truth of reality, aka teachings of the Buddha.
okay. So we're talking about Jonas. Remind me.
I think I just mentioned that you have so much constructs, or maybe so much things you have read or learned.
Yeah.
And you try to make sense of it with your mind. You try to make sense of what you're experiencing. For example, when you're meditating, how far do I get? How good do I feel? How wholesome am I or my thoughts? But this is, you just, I think, then stuck again in the judging, right? What is it that I'm doing right now, instead of just doing.
Yeah, but there's still, you have to have right effort to recognize the thoughts, wholesome, unwholesome. That's part of the practice. So I mean, there is right effort in Eightfold Noble Path.
Yeah, and I think so. I asked Dhammarato at some point, like, what is a wholesome thought and what is an unwholesome thought? And we came to that actually these unwholesome things are stuff that's filled with desire or judging, something like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's like hatred, obviously, and there's wanted to harm things, unwholesome.
Yeah, but sometimes, and I noticed this, that sometimes when I say to myself, well, I feel really, really good right now. And I really thought that this is a wholesome thought. But sometimes it turns out to be also unwholesome, because I label this current moment so good. And because of this, I label another moment not good. And I feel miserable because I lost feeling good.
You're comparing, that's unwholesome.
So for me, it's this judging thing. During meditation, for example, judging something, making sense of something, and I try to listen, to hear, just what is happening, just experiencing.
I mean, that's okay.
Right.
That sounds like do nothing meditation a lot. Which I mean,
maybe, yeah. It's a lot. It's I recognize a lot from Zen that I got from there a little bit. But maybe I'm not doing it right. Whatever. I don't know more than you do.
To like recognize if it's wholesome or unwholesome. That's part of the practice. That's just for.
I also think.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to ask. Do you think is it possible that you are clinging to that wholesomeness? I'm not sure if that's, at least that's in my experience.
You mean you clinging to wholesome?
I'm kind of replying to Jonas. He was saying like the labeling stuff, right? And then it kind of feels a bit neurotic, and it just doesn't feel wholesome. And from my experience, usually that happens because I'm attached to that wholesome, and I'm really afraid that unwholesomeness will take over me. And I found that again the way out is having the right attitude. Don't cling to anything.
Right.
Just pay attention to what's happening. That's all you have to do.
But the fear that what is it? But that fear that you like are gonna lose your practice, it's also unwholesome. You know what I'm saying? That's just another thought. Right.
I agree.
And you just keep going with wholesome thoughts, and that's it. Just. I mean, everything that you can kind of think is a thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, but sometimes you don't see it as a thought, but these are very subtle ones. Can be.
Yeah.
So I started out, like, when I had the first talk with Dhammarato, I started out with this. When I had unwholesome thoughts, or I thought I had unwholesome thoughts, I tried to think a lot wholesome thoughts. Like,
yes.
it's peaceful, everything is good, I'm good, everything's all right. But for me, it felt a lot like
Lying?
a war in between. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
lying, a war
Actually, I
inside
had
of me.
this too. But I mean, the point about the wholesome thoughts, they're true. You see, like because right now everything's all right. You know, like no one's attacking me now, and I'm fine. Like I have no problem. So like you see, this it's actually true thought. I think
Yeah,
you'll be
right.
true.
Right,
So
right,
no
right,
one's attacking you here. So like,
right, right.
Yeah,
and a
that's
lot of
great.
these wants and these like these produce a lot of pain. You know, suffering.
Can you find the joy out of you're safe right now? No one's attacking you. Isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, it's
How
great.
nice. How lovely.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
do agree. Sometimes the wholesome thoughts, which is also unwholesome, like you're trying to say these wholesome thoughts to get something. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a
Yeah.
bit of wanting in these wholesome thoughts.
Yes, sometimes, yeah.
It's like I want first jhana, I want some pity, I want bliss, I want this. There's also, oh, is it coming now? It's there's all this. The stuff does come, actually, and this is also unwholesome thoughts. I mean, just
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like
kind
you can even when you feel like in these moments where you feel unsatisfied, you can always be okay that you're unsatisfied. You can always be like wholesome even if you're not satisfied, right? Because you can get out of it by seeing it.
yeah. But then you're satisfied if you're not, you know.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah,
And
because
I think
it's very
it's
moment to moment, kind of.
yeah, it's more for me. It's a lot more than thinking. A lot more than thinking I'm satisfied. It's a lot more than this.
Well, it's more like what's better about these thoughts that have meaning, as opposed to like a mantra that has it has some meaning, like Buddha has a meaning, but actually it's true. You can recognize like it has, you know, if you have these wholesome thoughts, you recognize. Yeah, I have nothing to do. The point of it is the meaning of the thoughts.
Right,
It's just a
right.
symbol. It's just thoughts are really just a symbol for the meaning that is like obviously.
And the confidence. I feel like I'm building confidence to be at peace sometimes
Yeah.
because I have these unwholesome thoughts and I tell myself, well, actually everything is all right, but I do not completely believe myself, even if I tell myself. And that's like what I'm working on to fully trust in it, in me, in the process.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
noticed my practice as well, and it's doubt, and then you can just
Doubt, yeah.
congratulate for seeing the doubt, and out goes the doubt. No need for that.
Yeah,
It's all right.
the doubt is funny because it works so good. Every unwholesome thought, whatever, and then comes the doubt, and I question if actually what I'm doing is right or if I'm doing something wrong. And this kicks me out of everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
Yeah, and
hard.
you don't want to worry about too much about getting it right or understanding it. It's a simple, if we over intellectualize it, we become philosophers, scholars, good Western students. But it's a simple practice of gladdening the mind here and now, having a good attitude, having a relaxed attitude, having a cool mind, which is what nibbana means. If you don't know, they use that word in Thailand. From the Pali Canon, it was used for food, to take the food off of the fire and to cool down, nibbana. Or you might have heard it as nirvana. But it's nothing special, it's nothing magical like the Western society has created it to be. It's very practical, it's very easy. The Buddha's more like a psychologist, more like a scientist than he is a magical lord or savior. So it's not a mystery. Oftentimes we can get caught up when we talk about the Dhamma We could get caught up into making it something that it's not, making it into this big magical thing that's philosophical, and there's so many ways to get it right. And it becomes just yet another Western thing of climbing a mountain, running a race, being the best at it, has nothing to do with it. It's just about, can you find peace here and now? Can you recognize the peace within you? When you come back to the breath, can you realize that right now, like he was saying earlier, nothing is happening worth noting. Nothing is happening worth getting flustered over. Everything's peaceful. And when we come back to the breath, we get away from this monkey mind. And the truth, that's why they call it the Dhamma. The truth is because the truth is right here. There's not much going on other than breathing. That's the truth. But this lies to you and gives you all kinds of thoughts, feelings, and emotions to run after. And it's all bullshit. There's nothing to run after worth of value. There's just, we remember, we look, and we change. That's the practice, the simple practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. Remember, look, and change. And if you see some dukkha, some dissatisfaction, you just change it into sukha with our nurturing, wholesome thoughts, feelings, actions, speech, inner speech and outer speech. And it really helps our attitude. And we were talking about effort earlier, and what type of effort do we need? We just need the right amount of effort to change our dukkha into sukha. Whatever the amount of effort it takes to change our negative thoughts into more positive, wholesome, nurturing thoughts, that's the perfect amount of effort. You don't need to stress out about it all day. You don't need to run after it like yet another thing to run after and chase over. It's just, don't worry, be happy.
Yeah, it's all happening in the moment. It's all here now. It's not some kind of future past. It's here now. Practice is done here now. And that's it. Okay, guys, I'll be going. My phone is going to die. So, bye-bye. Good luck to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So how are you guys doing?
Feeling good. Everything's all right.
Feeling good.
I'm a little bit hot right now. I think I have to open the window.
Yeah, in America, it is a super hot day in this state anyway. It's like 85 degrees, 90 degrees out there.
Where are you actually, Buddhadasa?
The Midwest, by the Great Lakes, in the middle of America, middle right.
Middle right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Illinois. Illinois. It's very nice. Very nice, peaceful place.
Great. Yeah, I've never been there. Never been to America.
Yeah. Well, if you ever come to America, you can hang out with me if you want. But yeah, we can get caught up in the over intellectualization of the Dhamma because that's what we're used to. Because in the Western world, you're taught if something's complicated, if something's difficult, then it must be of immense value. But the Dhamma is the opposite of this Western way of thinking. It's not super complicated. Like Leo Tolstoy said, lies are complicated. The truth is simple. And the truth is, we have the power to change our mind whenever we wish, no matter what's happening. Whatever dissatisfaction arises, we can change it into satisfaction, into joy, and we can do it very easily. And yeah, it's quite simple, really.
And this is I begin to fully understand this because it gives me more and more confidence that I can actually, it doesn't matter what happens, And what changes? I can handle everything. It's complete. And that gives me a lot of confidence, actually.
Yeah. That's great, man. Congratulations. And we all need to remember, when we recognize that there's dukkha there and we can change it, congratulating ourselves for that recognition and change, remembering to look and change, is very important, because it just gets the momentum of wholesomeness going, the momentum of sukha going. That's why the Sangha is important. That's why Dhamma talks, whatever you want to call them, are important. Talking about the Dhamma is important, because it reminds, when I'm talking about the Dhamma with you guys, I'm just reminding myself to remember to look. I'm reminding myself of the practice. And that's part of the practice. That's why we do these calls, whether it's me, Dhammarato, Brett, DJ, whoever. We're all one in the Dhamma. You know, there's nobody who's better or worse. There's nobody who's enlightened and unenlightened. Everybody is enlightened. Only your ignorant mind says you're not enlightened. Only your ignorant mind follows your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. One of the most beautiful things Ajahn Chah said was, he said, your mind is like a water buffalo or a cow for the Westerners. You have it on a rope and you want it to stay on the path. But the water buffalo is this big ox thing, cow. It wants to go eat the vegetables, trample the gardens to the right, eat the vegetables, explore to the left. But you just take your stick and you just hit that water buffalo gently, and he learns after a while. Oh, my master doesn't want me to go to the left or the right. He wants me to stay on this flat thing called the road. And he's never going to be perfect. He's always going to veer towards the left or right to get the carrots and the apples and all this shit. But that's okay. That's his nature. When we start practicing the Dhamma, we're like the water buffalo who's never had a master. He's eating the vegetables, going here, and the master's hitting him with the stick. But after a few days, after a week, he enjoys going on walks with the master. And yeah, he may want to eat the vegetables here and there. And that's allegory for getting wrapped up in our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. We all have a tendency to get wrapped up in our thoughts, feelings, and emotions that cause us to. It's very natural. It's nothing even to fret about. But the wisdom is recognizing that that's not necessary. It's not necessary to follow every thought, feeling, and emotion. It just leads to suffering. Oh, I can't wait to get this money. Oh, I can't wait to pay this bill. Oh, I wonder what this relationship, what this woman thinks of me, what this man thinks of me. I'm worried about what this person said to me at work. I'm worried about what I'm going to do in the future. All these things. I'm worried of what society thinks of my status. All these things. This meaningless bullshit is nothing more. It's not important.
It's the same when I tell myself, or I ask myself whether or not what I'm doing is right or wrong. It's just, well, letting it go, being okay, right?
You can write. One person can write a book on how something is completely wrong. Another person could write a whole dictionary on how that same thing is completely right. You know, there is no right and wrong. That's why these people can debate all day long and not come to a conclusion. That's why some people could believe in God, some people can't. Some people could be left, some people could be right in politics. And they can argue to the end of time because there's no solution. There's no answers. There's no answers to anything. It's not, even if you did find an answer, if you think that's going to satisfy you, you're just going to get bored and you're going to want another answer and another answer. And yeah, it's not really important. It's not really necessary, because that's the escape of the circle of samsara, the circle of birth and death. When we like something so much so out of balance that it causes dissatisfaction, that's getting out of balance. And usually it's in the past or the future. And the middle way is here and now. If I like a certain car, you know, if my if my partner in my relationship wants to get a car that I don't like, then I'm suffering. Oh, I don't want to drive around with you and that, blah, blah. But if I don't care about cars, if I don't give a shit, she could get whatever car she wants and I'll be perfectly happy. But we love the chains that bind us. We think, oh, this is who I am. I only drive this car. I only associate with people who are like me. I only associate with people who believe what I believe. Everybody else who doesn't believe me is foolish. And this society is going through a real big transformation right now and kind of a digression, because nowadays you can't even have a different opinion with somebody without becoming enemies. And that's so stupid, because everybody has different opinions. Everybody has different stuff. Just don't get married to your different opinions. Just don't fall in love with your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It's okay to have opinions. It's okay to have preferences or to like and dislike things even, but not to the point where it will cause dukkha, where it will cause dissatisfaction. But if it's not causing dissatisfaction, you could like and dislike stuff all day long. It doesn't matter. Huh. What would be an example? Go ahead, buddy.
No, like I like what you said. Like it's okay to like and dislike as long as that doesn't cause dukkha. It just like sometimes when I know some people that have a lot of dislike about things, but they seem to have this attitude of going through life still without really much dukkha. I think because even though they dislike something, they can just let it go very quickly. And there's this non-attachment. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and really it's really none of our business what other people are, if they have dukkha or not dukkha. What matters is if we have dukkha or not. Are you satisfied? And it's such an important question, because when you get to a point where you really are observing things that are going on and saying, oh, this practice is so I feel satisfied. This practice is so I can get somewhere where it's a joy to live. When you separate society, what people think, expectations of other Buddhists, expectations of other Dhamma practitioners, if you separate that and get to a point where you say, can I really, ask yourself seriously, can I really find satisfaction here and now? Is it possible to live my life in a joyful way? When you start uncovering that, yes, it's easy and it's possible, everybody else's thoughts, feelings, emotions are not relative to what you're doing. You realize, oh, this is the whole practice, because so much of society is to elevate yourself so other people will give you validation and attention. But it becomes the first time in our lives when we are finding the joy for ourselves. And you're like, oh, I don't need attention. I don't need to be the best Dhamma practitioner. I don't need to be the best at my job. I don't need to be the best human being. What a relief that is. And then you take a breath and you're just like, ah, I was the Buddha all along. I was enlightened all along.
Yeah.
I didn't need any of that bullshit, you know?
It's sometimes I might have this wanting to prove myself right about something, and then suddenly when I'm in like if I fall sick, and then suddenly all that shit just goes away. I don't fucking care. I feel like dying right now. I don't give a shit about wanting to be right or wrong. I think it's really funny. We care too much, but it's not that important.
Yeah, oftentimes we're told by society that we have to be the stars of our own movie, the heroes of our books, this dramatic, romantic adventure, and it's not real. It's not really real, these things. These are things that hungry ghosts run after, because they sound nice.
It will never be enough, right?
That's right. Well, if it was enough, all the actors and actresses would be completely satisfied. We would be like, oh, they seem very satisfied. They're not. Brad Pitt's children are disowning his last name. Will Smith just crying on TV or on the internet saying how much being a celebrity has ruined his life. And they have everything a person could possibly want: women, looks, money, and it does nothing. It's not that those things are bad inherently, but that attachment to them is bad. The expectation of thinking the physical world is going to solve your problems for you. That's why they call it spirituality, because it's not of the physical. It's of the ethereal, of the inner, of the lightness, of the non-physical. And that's where you can find joy within, and a balance within the physical, like a yin yang thing. Yeah. So basically, just don't take life too seriously. You're not the star of your movie. Humble yourself. You're not that important. There is no self-ego that's going to last throughout eternity, where everybody.
Yeah, and also, it's also, everything is like impermanent. Everything changes all the time.
Yes.
And you don't have to be so serious just because you're a little bit sad right now. It's gonna fade. It's gonna change, and even the good things are gonna fade.
That's right. Exactly right. Yeah. If we take it seriously, though, we get caught up in the play. We get too caught up in the drama. But we should look at it more like an observer watching a play, where there's all this drama going on, but we don't need to get tangled up in it. Go ahead, buddy.
Dhammadas, I have a question about feeling really good, feeling happy, and then maybe for days, right? And then there's this fear coming in, like I'm about to feel bad again soon, like dukkha is gonna knock on my door. What's the attitude that I can go about it?
He was talking about how he will feel good for a couple days, but then he'll have kind of this anxiety and he'll notice this fear kind of coming in that it's not going to last. Yeah, that's natural. As the birds fly in the sky, the humans will get fear. We'll get anxiety. The Buddha got fear, anxiety, all these things, even on his deathbed, as an old man on his deathbed. But the difference between him and the normal lay people, not the noble people, is that he was able to recognize that. Oh, here comes fear, my old friend. I know it's nothing to be afraid of. Aha, I see you, Mara. And that recognition that you can't hurt me. You're just part of this beautiful body. You're just part of this beautiful chemicals that have helped, through evolution, helped us live, helped us survive. It's not personal towards me. Fear will come. Anger will come. These horrible things will come, but with the right understanding and wisdom, they're not very horrible. They're just a natural process of the body. So when they come, it's not going to feel too good, but you can say, I've dealt with it. How old are we? 20, 30, 40? We've made it this far.
I'm 30, yeah.
Yeah, we've made it this far. We're still here. We're still in one piece. The fear, anxiety hasn't completely killed us yet. Fuck it. We're good. We'll survive the next round of fear. We'll survive the next round of anxiety. And then we'll survive the next round of worry about what people think. Who gives a fuck? Fuck them. Yeah.
I agree.
Society looks at me like this. Well, society's fucking insane. Society goes to war. Society takes over other people's lands. Society beats people on the streets for parking tickets and shit. Society's fucked up. Yeah. So don't worry what society thinks about you. You don't have to worry about these things. There's no need for worry.
Yeah. I remember Buddha said in the sutta something about the world is burning. He said something like that. I can't really remember. That everything's burning. I think that's what he said.
Yeah.
I remember that there was I think it's some Buddhist thing that like a practice is helping others. And how is that where does that come from?
Helping others, that's acts of compassion, of metta, the actions of compassion, sila, morality. And it's part of The Eightfold Noble Path. When we have nurturing, wholesome thoughts, feelings, actions, that's what liberates us from dukkha. And it doesn't mean running around and what will give us happiness is making everybody else happy and fixing the world. The world is the way it is. But when we have nurturing, wholesome thoughts, feelings, actions within ourselves, we become a light unto the world. And if the hungry dog approaches us, naturally we feed it. If somebody comes to us that needs help, naturally we'll help them. We're not banging our heads against the wall like some activists, like, I gotta save the world, I gotta save the. No, we see the world is what it is, and we do what we can when we can in a balanced way. And when we're practicing the Dhamma, you're not likely to want to rob a bank. You're not likely to want to hurt somebody or hurt others or to make others feel bad. That's the whole practice is relaxing. And relaxed people don't do all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, good one. Thanks everyone for this call. It was really nice talking with you. See you again
See you,
soon.
Dhamma.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, dudes. Yeah, I'm gonna get going unless you guys have any other questions.
Well,
No.
I just wanted to add that with this helping others stuff, compassion, it reminds me a lot of Jesus. Because I was raised Christian, it reminds me a lot.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, think of Jesus as like just another Dhamma practitioner, just a great master,
Like a bodhisattva, maybe.
Yeah.
We could even go further than that. He's a great Buddha. He's a great enlightened master, I think. Because during his talks, during the Sermon on the Mount, he didn't talk about Sunday school or reading the Bible or hating gay people or anything horrible like that. No, he talked about the kingdom of heaven is within you. He talked about loving your enemies, loving your neighbors, living a relaxing, peaceful life. That's exactly what he talked about. And it's no different than what the Buddha talked about, or Marcus Aurelius, or like Dhammarato mentioned the other day, Diogenes. Yeah, Jesus rocks, man. And who knows? Maybe he was a lot different in real life. Maybe he's exactly how. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but from what I read of the Bible, Jesus seems like a real amazing enlightened master, and I wish more Christians would follow his example.
I'm currently watching this series. It's called The Chosen, and I love how Jesus is portrayed there. Of course, it's just a lot of his imagination, but I really love how he's portrayed as this compassionate being there. I don't know if you know the series. It's a great one.
No, I haven't. I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
There's also a movie called Mary Magdalene.
Mm.
Okay. There's also a movie called Mary Magdalene where Joaquin Phoenix plays Jesus. And that's a great movie too. A great interpretation of Christ. Yeah. Nobody's ever heard of it, but it's wonderful.
No, I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Right. Yeah.
Because
I believe Rooney Mara's in it. I believe. I could be mistaken, but whoever Joaquin Phoenix is married, he met on that set.
Yeah, I've just read about it like a couple days ago, I think, because I searched something about Mary Magdalene on like Wikipedia or something.
Oh, nice.
Then I saw that there's a movie about her.
Yeah. What do we want? What do we want in life? We all just want to feel good. We all just want satisfaction. That's what we want. And and we're not going to find it in the physical world, only in the physical world, rather. We find it within ourselves with the right attitude, with the right sati, remembering to look and to change our unwholesome thoughts into wholesome thoughts. And we could do this anytime, any day, no matter what's happening. Even if this one Hindu guy said, even if heaven falls from the sky, you can still remain peaceful and joyful, no matter what happens.
It's just like this thing Jesus said, like if somebody steals you, I think what was it? And then he said like, give him your other coat or something like this, or give him more. Know what I mean?
Yeah. If he if he takes something from you, give him more.
Yeah, yeah,
give
something
him,
like this, right?
And Jesus was, from what I understand from that passage, is that he's basically saying, if you don't value the physical world, you can practice charity even amongst thieves. If they steal from you, here, take this. I don't give a shit about this shit. Why am I going to get upset about this? And a lot of Zen masters did the same thing. Zen master Ikku, this old Zen master, somebody tried to steal something from him too, and he gave him more stuff, I believe. I forget what. Yeah. But yeah, you guys are awesome, man. I gotta get going, but
Yeah.
much peace and love to you all. Thanks for joining. I
Thanks
hope I
so
see
much.
you guys come next Wednesday if possible, okay?
If possible,
All right.
if possible.
Bye-bye.
Much peace
See
and
you.
love, dudes.
Wish you all the best. Bye bye.
Adios,
Bye-bye.
dudes.